Okay, welcome in. I'm Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com, and we're making a college football video. We're going to hit on games of the year that were released a couple of weeks ago at betonline.ag. Some of these lines have moved a little since opening. We're just going to start at the top with my Gators, a 7.5-point favorite against the Canes. Remember, this game got moved up a week. So, August 24th kick. It'll stand alone, be a night game in Orlando. It'll be hot as heck down there with the Gators, a 7.5-point. Chalk as the Manny Diaz era gets started in Dan Mullen's second year, coming off a 10-3 campaign. We move to August 31st, and we've got FSU facing Boise State over in Jacksonville, and the semis are 4.5-point favorites as Willie Taggart enters the second year of his tenure, already on the hot seat. I extend the man. We move on. Auburn -3 against Oregon. That one, oh man, it's either in Jerry World or Houston. I should know this. Doesn't say it on here. I'm pretty sure it's at Jerry World, where LSU destroyed Oregon many moons ago with the Honey Badger having a big game. South Kakalaki Gamecocks -7.5 against North Carolina. I believe this one is in Charlotte. North Carolina is listed on the bottom as the home team, but yeah, I guess Carolina could be favored 7.5 in Chapel Hill, but I think that one's in Charlotte. All right, let's move. And by the way, South Carolina's got a schedule in the country next year and a critical season for Will Muschamp, who I think has done a really good job at South Carolina. But this past year, after a couple of years of overachieving, probably a little on the underachieving side last season. Okay, September 7th, week 2, we've got LSU -3 at Texas. Now, that was one. Oh, and actually, Texas is -120 price on the +3. If you like LSU, that's an even money bet. That was the one that struck me when these lines opened. It was LSU -5.5, and I thought that was way too many. They've obviously made the correction, moving it 2.5 points since opening. A&M lost a 28-26 heartbreaker to Clemson last year. Had a tough call go against it late. And obviously Clemson went on to win the national title. Clemson is a 15-point chalk, home chalk, to the Aggies in week 2, September 7th. Stanford lost a lot of talent, lost Caden Smith, a star tight end, J.J. Arcega, Whiteside, along with Bryce Love. Although Love did not have a very good senior season, nothing close to the numbers he produced in 2017, excuse me. Anyway, USC is -3 to Stanford. Actually, USC is even money price, and Stanford's -120 on that one. Let's go to September 14th. 3 games on the board at betonline.ag. You've got Oklahoma -11.5 at UCLA. Second year of Chip Kelly's tenure. Obviously, first year was a major disappointment, and now they're having a major disappointment of a basketball coaching search. Michigan State -6 at home, but with a -120 price tag against Herm Edwards and the ASU Sun Devils. Then we've got Stanford -2.5 at UCF. Now we move to September 21st. My Gators -14.5 to Tennessee in Gainesville. Georgia -11.5 to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, chance to exact a little revenge from that L in South Bend, that 1-point game a couple of years ago, as they go between the hedges in, what would that be, week 4. Also, we've got A&M, Jimbo's second year, 3.5-point chalk to Auburn. And then we've got Michigan -6, excuse me, at Wisconsin. Hornibrook went the grad transfer route to FSU a month or so ago. So, new QB in Madison. All right, September 28th, we've got Ohio State -7.5 at Nebraska. Scott Frost's team really closed strong after that awful start. Would they lose their first 6, I believe, last year? But they finished strong. And Nebraska, a 7.5-point home dog to Ohio State. Washington, minus 7.5 versus Southern Cal. Obviously, hot seat time for Helton in the land of Troy, if you will. October 5th, we've got Ohio State favored by 13.5 points versus Sparty in Columbus at the Shoe. Texas, a 3.5-point underdog at West Virginia as the Troy Brown era starts up there in Morgantown, and the Gators are 7.5-point home favorites to Auburn. We go to October 12th. We've got Notre Dame, an 11.5-point home chalk to USC. We've got the Gators, 2.5-point road dogs at LSU in Baton Rouge, Red Stick, if you prefer. Alabama, minus 13 at Texas A&M. We go to October 19th, only 2 games on the board. We have Washington, minus 6.5 at home against Oregon as the Jacob Eason era begins under Chris Peterson. We've got Michigan, minus 5.5 at Penn State. We go to October 26th, and we've got Oregon, minus 5.5 to Washington State. We've got LSU as a 7.5-point home chalk to Auburn. We have TCU minus 2 against Texas. We've got Michigan minus 8.5 at home versus Notre Dame. And the Buckeyes are 9-point home favorites to Wisconsin. Moving to Saturday, November 2nd in Jacksonville, Georgia is favored by 4 for the Mighties. We've got Washington, a 3-point home chalk versus Kyle Whittingham and the Utah Utes. We have USC, a 1-point home favorite to Oregon. And we've got the semis, that would be FSU, minus 1.5 at Doak Campbell against Miami. November 9th, Alabama, minus 17 at home against LSU at Bryant-Denny. And Wisconsin is a 5.5-point home favorite to Iowa. November 16th, oldest rivalry out there, right? Maybe Harvard-Yale. Anyhow, Georgia minus 9 at Auburn on the Plains. Michigan minus 11 to Sparty at the Big House in Ann Arbor. But the Wolverines are minus 105 price, minus 115 for Sparty. There, November 23rd, USC, 6-point home favorite against UCLA. We've got Georgia favored by 13.5 in Athens against Texas A&M. That might be a little rich for my taste. Oklahoma minus 15 to TCU. That one is in Norman. And we've got Ohio State as a 10.5-point home favorite against Penn State. Revenge game for the Nittany Lions after that atrocious play call from James Franklin and his staff on 4th and 5 in that nail-biter last year at PSU. November 29th on the Friday night, we've got Texas minus 8 at home, but at a minus 115 price to Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, plus 8, minus 105. And then we've got Washington, a 7-point home favorite to Washington State in the Apple Cup. And we also have Memphis as a 7-point home chalk to Cincinnati, but the Tigers are even money on that, and the Bearcats are minus 120. Wrapping up Saturday, the regular season finale. Why would they not have more rivalry games posted? Interesting. Michigan, a 3-point home favorite to Ohio State, an odd minus 102 price tag on Jim Harbaugh's team, minus 118 if you like the Buckeyes, plus the 3. And then in the Iron Bowl, Auburn, a 14-point home underdog to Alabama. And then the Army-Navy game, Army minus 9.5 at a minus 105 price at Navy. There you go. There's your games of the year. Obviously, an advantage to taking these games now is if you get the right number, these numbers could change. You could maybe get a big hedge, or maybe, just let it ride and sit pretty with a advantageous number that could potentially be 7 to 10 points different come the week of game time. So there you have it. I'm Brian Edwards of MajorWager.com, and that's our college football video on games of the year at betonline.ag. Thanks for joining us.